Wow, that's really interesting. Maybe just a quick follow-up question on that, Chris. Do so I guess in your past roles, you would be contacted by suppliers that were about to make a proposal and working with them a little bit to understand more what they're doing before the final decision is made. That's welcome. You have an open door to those kinds of conversations.
Well, I would say, open door might not be quite the right way to describe it, but there are two ways that those interactions often happen. One is, if you've been asked to look and evaluate different options, and maybe you think one option is better than the other, or you've discovered some benefits, or you've had an opportunity to be in on some of the initial meetings, and you've created a model that allows you to sort of see those benefits. The other is if there's a senior leader within the organization that's asked you to really create a model or evaluate two different options to make a recommendation to them. And when that happens, you really are looking to get the best information. And if you can find somebody, you're not typically going to go out and seek out salespeople or SAMs to talk to. But if somebody has been able to make that connection and deliver that value of helping you understand how that maybe it might be them leveraging how they've used that product or solution with another customer, providing some real insights into your business and ways that their product has been used in the past and will have those impacts. That conversation can be a very, very valuable conversation.
Ah, fantastic. Are there any other tips or quick wins, so to speak, for suppliers when they're getting, I suppose by the time it gets to you, you're starting to get to the end of the decision-making process when it gets to the high enough level in finance. So any other tips that you can offer?
Yeah, I would say if you can, I would try to get into some of the finance team or the CFO if you have that access earlier in the process. A lot of times, one of the key things that SAMs do is reframe the conversation from one around purely cost of a particular product to demonstrating that having a conversation around value, including some of maybe the unique benefits that you bring or your organization brings to the table, those conversations really need to happen up front. And you may need a more senior person within your customer to make that case internally that these other benefits that you have and you can deliver should be included in the evaluation process. And so having those conversations earlier is really a critical piece. Once the RFP has come out, it's really too late to have those conversations. But early in the process, or even before the process has started, having those detailed conversations and sharing what you know and sharing how you can help your customer think about that benefit that's the time you want to be having this conversation.
That's great, Chris. It makes me wonder, was it common? I mean, I have to say, when I was talking to our finance people internally or at the customer, that was always a bit of an uncomfortable conversation for me because I wasn't a career finance guy. And is it okay if you bring one of your company's financial people to that conversation to, help basically speak in the finance language?
Absolutely. And I think in many cases, it's safer to do that. I would say be a little bit careful who you bring on those calls, right? So, one of the companies that I was at, one of the larger companies, that was part of my role. I would go with our sales team, some of our SAMs, and be that person to help structure the transaction, understand what the customer is thinking about, what their needs are, and we could have a much more detailed conversation. And really, we often talk about finance is the language of business. And so if you're a kindergarten level or first grade level understanding of finance, some things in the conversation you might miss. Whereas if you bring an expert or bring somebody that is comfortable having those customer conversations, you will get much more out of what are the KPIs, what are the real things that your customer is needing and is interested in, what are the risks that they're trying to manage. And so having that conversation at a higher level will really provide a lot of value in how you want to structure your offer, how you want to structure your deal, and how you can find ways of finding a mutual win-win relationship with your customer. But there's often not a lot of finance people at your company that you would want to take on a customer visit, and so you really have to be careful who you bring, and have some coaching with them, and once you find somebody who's great at it, I would encourage you to take them as often as you can on those meetings, because their insights coming out will be incredibly valuable.
Well, that's excellent. So, I mean, a couple of key points there. You've really got to have these conversations, the proactive conversations, let's say, before the RFP, when you're first starting to propose the deal, and in the discovery phase, I would say, with the customer, trying to figure out what it is they're trying to accomplish and what their goals are and those kinds of things. And it's okay to bring a finance person, but they've got to be customer ready, so to speak.
Right. And, I think that's often we talk about that in most executive conversations, right? If you're bringing your CTO and sometimes even your CEO into a customer meeting, you want to make sure that they're ready. You want to make sure that they are really, as we often talk from the Summit Group, is thinking about the them side, thinking about your customer, and not walking in and really changing the conversation, wanting to share all of the things that they know. It really needs to be about the customer. It's an engagement where you're looking to find out as much as you can about your customer, and where you can really make an impact on their business.